Hello, MGTOW. Hello, man. This is Howard Dare. Thanks for stopping by. So, you have a bad attitude. I can't tell you how many times growing up I heard that said. And it's true. I did have a bad attitude. But here's the thing. The only thing that they didn't like about my attitude is that I refused to show fear. Okay? This was an authority confrontation with me that I would always have. Here's the thing. I had a somewhat decent father, you know? He wasn't a complete idiot. He didn't just beat the shit out of me, right? So he was a good father. And he encouraged me to question, to learn. And when I would encounter someone of an authoritative mindset, you know, with this strongly established hierarchy within their own minds, they would be like, you're going to have to do what I say or else. And being the precocious child that I was, my question was always, or else what? And the answer always was, you'll see and you won't like it. So I knew that that always meant punishment, right? And my view, even as a child, was, okay, fair enough. Are you willing to commit an immoral act to punish someone just because they don't kiss your ass? And the answer was yes. People were willing to do that. Not all people, right? It was interesting because the people who would threaten me with, you know, this type of personal punishment, they would use it, right? But the people who wouldn't punish me, you know, wouldn't threaten me with it, they wouldn't do those things like that. They would recognize that, oh, here was a child that was questioning me, you know, and he had, you know, some questions. So now you have a bad attitude as well. No, not you personally. But so there it was. And I was pretty much alone, to be honest with you, growing up. Well, I had friends, but I mean, like, you know, in my attitude like this, it's like, you got to be crazy. And I think that it might have happened, as I said, because I had a decent father and I had an alcoholic mother, right? So she had absolutely no authority, right? So if she would say, you do this, I would be like, I learned from a very young age that you can't trust women, not with authority, okay? And you can't trust men who serve women. So if a man says, hey, little boy, you need to do this, unless he's an actual man, you know, unless he's a decent sort of man who carries himself with some dignity and pride, I know I'm not supposed to listen to him. Like, if a man says he's a doctor, but he's in horrible health, and then he tells me to do what he does, I know that I shouldn't listen to him. You know, it was just some simple stuff that I couldn't escape, even as a young child, right? So, yeah, I think you understand. So that was the source of my attitude, and I was punished for it severely. I always have been. I don't get along well in, you know, groups of others and things like that. I never have. But that's okay, because I get along fine with individuals, if they're decent individuals. Over the course of my life, I guess my attitude changed, you know? It took a long time, but somewhere in my late 20s, I'd say, I started to have an attitude of going along to get along, of laughing at the boss's jokes, of doing what other people do in order to get along in the group. And it worked out pretty well for me for a while. But here's the thing, whenever I got embedded into a group of other people too severely, I was okay with like a boss that was intelligent or capable coworker. But if I had to interact with an idiot that was just following orders, I would always run into problems because I would keep trying to assert an independent, thoughtful perspective into things, getting things done, right, confidently. And they would always, of course, want to just do things by the book because, you know, they're not that smart. And if they don't, they're going to get in trouble. And after getting in trouble for so long, so many things in life, I eventually started to go down that road and thought that it was the good road to go down, right? And in my opinion, that is where my attitude went wrong. Now, it wasn't wrong to say, I want to get along better with other people. And, you know, and I recognize their fear of independent thought. No, it was an attitude of, you know, going along to get along. It was an attitude of submission. Now, here's what I kind of wanted to talk about. A long introduction, right? History. In doing MGTOW videos, I often put myself in a position of saying, if I were a woman, what would I be looking for in a man? Because, you know, trying to understand female nature here, what's going on. And here's the thing, the attitude. that a man thinks that he needs to have in order to get together with a woman, and the attitude that most women seem to require from a man, is not the attitude that I would want from a man if I were a woman. I'd find it disgusting. I mean, I would find it actually vomitous, okay? And what I'm talking about is this attitude of worshiping women, okay? The attitude of, I'm a better man than you because I've slept with more women than you. The attitude of, I'm a more successful man in life because more females approve of me, okay? If the attitude of, I'll do anything for a woman because I love women, I'll give them anything. If I were a woman and I met a man with that attitude, I could have no respect for him. None. I wouldn't hang around, even to take his money from him and make fun of him. I wouldn't do it. I would just say, good luck with yourself. That's the attitude I'm saying. And, I'm saying it in this idea of if I were a woman, I wouldn't approve of you. That don't mean shit, okay? You have a bad attitude because it's a submissive, servile, servant, slave attitude. So, and the men, not you personally, but men and boys are taught and raised to be servants of women. All right? We live in a female-led society. Even though we have a President Trump, thank God for President Trump, the values that lead Western civilizations are female-informed. It's the female interests that we're serving, okay? And it's disgusting, and it's destroying us. And if the individual man has this attitude, of, oh, I love women, I'll do anything for women, I'll kick your ass, I'll give her all my money, I'll die for a woman. All right, if that's his attitude, then he might as well die, because he's going to. She's going to destroy him. And if you'll think about this, if you'll be fair about the situation, you'll recognize that if that's your attitude in life, you're not a man. You're a dog. You're a beggar. You're a sycophant. You'll say you'll do anything to get what you want. You're a servant and a slave to your own biology, to your own desires. Now, yeah, you're a servant and a slave to your hunger, right? You don't get enough food, you're in a lot of trouble. You got to sleep. Warmth, cold, okay? But if you're a servant and a slave to your sexual desire, a woman is going to make a fool out of you. And it's not just that. It's the attitude that you will not be able to be effective in life. You will not be able to be strong. Because every time, so let's say you get married, right? Let's say you find the woman of your dreams, you get married, you build your business, you have your family, you have your kids, you work hard every day. And now you meet up with some sexually diseased, retarded whore, okay? And she's like, I'll have sex with you for $5, okay? Is that it? I mean, because if you're a real man, right? If you're a real man who has sex with all the women, you're going to go for that. You're going to hit that. Are you? I'm not. I find that disgusting. I find that dirty whore repulsive. I don't want her anywhere near me. Anything that she touches, I don't want to touch without, having it wiped down with disinfectants. That's my attitude. But the men are raised with this attitude of you have to be a servant to women if you want to be a real man. I get countless young men in my comments section talking to me about, how MGTOW are just a bunch of losers and this means more women for them, right? And seriously, it's like, well, if that were the case, you wouldn't be in my comments section telling me about it. You'd be out there flying around the world in your jet, sleeping with all your fashion models. So it's an attitude that women want men to have. Let me tell you a little story and then I'll end this video. I knew a man when I was growing up in high school. And this guy took immaculate care of himself. He was like a principal. He always looked great. And he always had a very elitist, superior attitude. And he looked like $1 million. He was a handsome man. But he wasn't a rich man. He was a servant, this was a very high-end private school. You know plenty of the people who went to this school. I was just there because of some weird reasons. But anyway, here was the deal. If you did what he wanted and he liked you, you would get ahead and you would do well in his school. If you did what he said and he liked you, you would do well in his school, okay? I had no interest in doing as anyone told me to do, especially an effeminate man. And no matter how hard I tried, no matter how hard I studied, no matter how hard I sacrificed, even though I didn't even have a mother that would, take care of me, he didn't like me. No. And I did not do well in his school, and he was the principal. And I had a lot of trouble in that school. And, I guess you could say that you should envy the people who did well in that school. And these were very successful. These were kids who came from very successful families, all right? Now, it's many, many years later. And all of those, not all of them, but most all of those kids who bowed down, who had a good attitude, and who did what he told them to do, and did well in his school, they're all dead. They're all gone. They all destroyed themselves, okay? They didn't learn. They didn't stand up for themselves. They never became strong individuals. They always did as they were told. They always got their special favors. They always indulged their desires. They never grew up, okay? And they destroyed themselves. Most of them are no longer here. They were gone before, anyway. The ones that didn't destroy themselves, do you know what happened to them? They destroyed their lives. They're just big fat slobs. They don't work. They don't do anything. By the time they were in their mid-40s, they were like, that's disgusting, I'm in better shape now at 53 than I ever was at 30 by far. So what I'm saying is that if you have the attitude that society and women want you to have in order to be successful and get ahead, you might meet with some success, right? You're going to get along with people that go along. I believe that in many instances, you'll be selling out your own personal values. And whatever reward you're going to get for it, I believe that it'll undercut your own self-worth. And the worship of women is a huge deal, okay? I'm not saying that the man isn't attracted to women. I'm not saying that the man doesn't want to get together with women. I'm not saying that he won't, do a lot to get together with a woman. What I'm saying is that he can't surrender his intellect, his reason, his honor, his integrity to his sexual desire. Honestly, this isn't so much about women. This is about a man being able to have control of himself. Because if you surrender these things, if you surrender your higher functions to your desire for the women, then you lose those higher functions and your life becomes meaningless. It becomes that of just a beast of burden, just a work animal. And that's what I mean when I say you've got a bad attitude. When you accepted the attitude of a female-led society, of a gynocentric society, and you said, I'm sure that when you accepted it, you said to yourself, I don't believe this bullshit. This is retarded, but I got to go along with it to get ahead. When you said that, you opened up a chink in the armor. You opened up a crack in the wall for it to come through the defenses. And the defense, to come through into the castle. And the castle was your self-integrity, your self-worth. And you compromise it. Not you personally. The man compromises it to get ahead, to get laid. But then he says to himself, all of my other, important things in life, they're subservient to me getting laid. So that's what I'm trying to say to you. And all of my other attitudes and feelings that I have, okay, they're all subservient to me getting ahead and getting along with other people. So you sell out. The individual sells out his own self-worth, his own integrity, his own honor to get ahead, to get along. And in many instances, it's a smart move. It's like you're not going to put the boss in his place and then just get fired. I've done it. Don't do it. So I want you to try to find a balance between being true to yourself, knowing that the woman is full of shit before you start jumping through the hoops to get together with her. And I want you to try being honest with people and with yourself. Now, I don't expect you to be able to do this with the boss at work, but in your personal relationships and how you interact with individuals, give it a try. Try to protect. Put aside this idea that the only thing a man wants is sex, and that he'll do anything to get sex, and that the most important thing in life is for him to get together with a woman, okay? Put that thought aside. Don't sell yourself that short, okay? The most important thing in life, look, you don't need to get together with a woman, right? That's not the most important thing in life. That's you can go out and hire female companionship for a little while, whatever. I mean, there's a billion things you can do. So don't let your masculine attitude be submersed underneath the expectations of a gynocentric attitude. And the people with the gynocentric submissive attitude, they're going to get ahead more. They're going to get more breaks. They're going to have more friends and things like that. But they're stabbing themselves in the back. and it's going to be just a matter of time before they destroy their own lives. So, something to think about. Let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, donate, and join me again, Howard Dare, as I plan to have more content for you. Thank you, MGTOW.